Good gameplay and good runs from both of our runners. Okay, it looks like we are beginning. Traitor's timer has started, and I believe they'll sync up once the run starts. So both of the runners are in City Escape, the first stage of the game, and you start this game just by boarding down these hills. And yeah, the controls here are very simple. You just have to make sure to get around the corners, preferably without hitting walls or cars, as they do slow you down, and accelerating on the board is very difficult. Oh man. Okay. I just had to mute the stream audio there. Apologies. And I believe we're just taking a short second on Traitor's stream for them to be synced up, and we are off. So yeah, both players in approximately the same place, as you would expect at this point in the run, since the boarding section is relatively static. Right off the bat with this run, we have one of the largest skips in the game available for the runners to attempt, CE skip, which Traitor attempted, but he missed. Dai also attempted a different method of going for it, but yeah, that skip is very difficult to hit and has some borderline random elements, so we wouldn't really expect to see either runner hit that skip. If one of them had hit the skip, they pretty much save an immediate 30 seconds on the other runner, though, so that is a considerable amount of time that the other runner then has to make up, especially in a matchup like this where the two runners are of a similar skill level. But as it is, the runners are both doing City Escape skipless, and they both just reached the bottom of the skyscraper. And I've just been joined here by ID Geek, who's just come over from Speed Gaming 3. Say hi if you want.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yeah. So, yeah, you've just joined me, and Dai and Traitor are both reaching the end of their respective City Escapes. Do you have any predictions for this race yourself?
I'd probably say, I guess Dai's been running longer for sure, but if you guys didn't know, Traitor recently actually got a 38 RTA.
Yeah, I've actually just been talking about the runners' respective PBs before the race started. They're both about 30 seconds apart in RTA, so it's definitely going to be close.
Yeah, I have no doubts that this is going to be an actually really good match.
Mm-hmm. Dai has come out with the slightly cleaner City Escape, which personally I would just attribute to his experience with this game, because he has been running the game longer, and City Escape is really a stage where a lot of things can go wrong at every point of the stage, ranging from small mistakes that just cause you to lose speed to full deaths that can lose upwards of 30 seconds each.
I believe both these guys are probably going to go for the front box strats here. I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah, Dai's going for it.
They're both of the caliber that they can do that pretty consistently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's to go for the back boxes is, a lot of runners believe, and rightly so, that it is a lot more consistent and safe, and it's only really in the region of 3 to 4 seconds slower. So some runners prefer to do it if they're not very confident with the front box strats, because the front box honestly isn't trivial to perform.
I don't really know how Dai is with his knuckles, but I know that Traitor has been doing tons of Centurions and stuff.
Yeah, Traitor's been practicing a lot. Currently, Dai has the RNG advantage. He's had a couple of really good first pieces here.
Oh yeah, wow. Look at that.
And it's gone
over. Oh, this is perfect.
Yeah, this is
like
a good
25-second RNG.
Yeah.
We'll take that.
Looking like that. There's no free pieces, but it's nonetheless a very friendly set. Meanwhile, Traitor is being forced to backtrack to the start of the stage. There are a couple of pieces that you can get at the start like this, and a couple of them aren't immediately obvious, sadly.
This is perfect.
He's also going to end Wild Canyon in the same place that Dai ended, but yeah, because of his RNG not being quite as good as Dai's, unfortunately, then he's finishing about 13 seconds slower than Dai did. So Wild Canyon is honestly one of the less volatile knuckle stages for RNG variants, so that really shows the potential that these stages have to affect a race result. So if that trend continues, then Traitor is going to have like a very difficult job making up the time in the execution stages.
Well, I mean, even though Wild Canyon is a little bit more like centralized in the average times that you'll get, like, you know, there are 4 more stages that we're going to be seeing. So you can have stages where like for example, in Death Chamber, you could have like just 30 seconds of difference just because you get really good IL pieces versus having to go back and forth across everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I think that it's probably going to even out on the Knuckles, personally.
Yeah, I think that's more likely than one runner just consistently getting good RNG the whole way. So I do expect Traitor to be able to make an RNG swing back towards his favor at some point in the run. It just remains to be seen where that's going to be. In the meantime, though, both of the runners are in their respective prison lanes. Prison lane is the first Tails stage of the run and introduces you to Tails' mech movement, which handles entirely different from Sonic and Knuckles. Like, Sonic and Knuckles' basic movement is relatively similar, but Tails' mech is entirely different from them, and learning how to handle it is honestly quite difficult if you want to master the fundamentals of good Tails movement. Accelerating and maintaining a speed with this thing is quite difficult.
The big thing is, as you're going around all these turns and corners, you're going to see them jumping on almost all of them, because you can keep your speed a lot more easily when in the air. So if you turn really sharply on the ground, you come to an almost dead stop.
Yeah. Which, this stage is definitely a good stage to practice that sort of tech on, because honestly, all of the turns in this stage are virtually sharp right angle changes, like 90-degree changes.
Okay, that's good. I got the second gate hop. That one can be kind of hard to get sometimes if you aren't used to practicing with that camera angle and stuff.
Yeah, particularly because there are a couple of enemies that you need to destroy before that gate to make the gate start collapsing. That's what this entire stage is really structured around, that there are constant locked doors and gates that have enemies guarding them, and the trigger for the gates opening is all of the enemies being dead.
Okay. Yeah, Trader's not that far behind. He's just like a results screen, so maybe like a little over 20 seconds. That's not bad.
Yeah, this is still totally anyone's game. Like, Dai is playing well, and he is getting slightly better level times so far, but I mean, this game is definitely not a done deal until the race is over.
We're going to see Dai with, looks like a 21 upgrade. That's pretty typical, so nothing to really complain about there.
Yeah,
the stage is a little scary just because it's really easy to die at any part because it's just like a vast abyss below you.
Yeah, it's possible to squeeze a couple of seconds more getting towards the upgrade, but that requires you to go for some much riskier strats, and that can kind of be extrapolated to the whole game, that the entire game is basically a weighing game of how much are you willing to try and optimize by saving seconds here and there by going for riskier and riskier strats.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. Most all of the tricks in this game, if they're faster, they're usually like a lot scarier to do.
Yeah, there's very few instances in the game where we managed to find new strats that are like, oh hey, this is faster and safer. That would be nice, but that doesn't generally happen in this game.
Nah, it's an unfortunate curse. Okay, so they both managed to make the rocket pretty easily, and Dai's coming up on the end now.
Yeah, that sort of rocket jump is made possible just by how Sonic's basic movement in this game works. Sonic is extremely momentum-based, and the fastest way of moving with Sonic is by using the spin dash. So you just charge up from a stationary position, and you can then move forward at max speed. But the game also pays close attention to basically what your angle incline is. Like, if you're just on flat ground, then you just get a burst of speed, but if you do that off an upward slope, you will also get a lot of air time as well. And that's what the players do there. They exploit jumping with max speed off a very steep slope, the result being that you shoot up straight into the air.
We'll see if Dai actually gets any full hops from Shadow. That's definitely not what you're going to want, because you can't really hit Shadow when he's jumping up in the air. You'll just bounce off of him.
There's the first one. Like, this, it's not random, but it is determined by factors that are too precise to really be consistent, so it may as well be random. It's just one of those cases where the boss's behavior is determined by a lot of things, such as your position and what you're doing, like distance from him and things like that. There are probably a lot of factors in determining Shadow's AI that, like, I don't really know about. And I've looked into this fight quite a lot.
You're also seeing, just for a little bit, that like Trader and I believe Die also, they were just kind of walking into Shadow. That's because they were holding the action button as they were walking into him. So, like, before you're charging the spin dash, you still have a hitbox around you. We call that storage.
Yeah.
So,
because for some reason, the developers, when making this game, decided to put every action that you have as Sonic on the same button. They had like 4 buttons to work with on the Dreamcast controller, and they thought everything has to be on the B button.
Yeah, guess it makes it dead simple, but also a pain in the butt.
Yeah, so they just had to find ways to differentiate the actions.
Do either of these people go for Green Forest wall run? Do you know?
I don't believe they do. I mean, for all I know, Traitor could, because I was like saying in the pre-show, I haven't really seen a lot of Traitor's gameplay, so he could surprise us. I'm fairly sure that Dai doesn't, but yeah, we could be surprised by Traitor right here.
Yeah. Okay, Dai's coming up here. That'll probably just do the loop skip, I imagine.
I think so.
Yeah, no checkpoint, so yeah. Ooh, Trader missed the loop skip, I think?
Yeah, the first Green Forest loop skip is, on its own, it's not too bad of a trick, but the camera is incredibly inconveniently placed there, and it pans around halfway through the flight path, and that really interferes with your ability to actually keep going in the right direction, and you do need to get a lot of distance to make that. Dai just does the normal bungee skip in Green Forest, and he's struggling a little with vertexes on this last loop skip section. One of the inconvenient things about this game being that if you cross over like floor or wall vertexes, basically the point where 2 different polygons join together, it can really mess with the collision, like both when Knuckles is trying to... Oh, he's gone for it. Yeah, like if Knuckles is trying to climb a wall, or if Sonic's trying to charge a spin dash, it'll interfere with both those things. So he is attempting the wall run. I don't know if he'll go for it again.
No, not a second time.
He's just giving it the single go around, which is fair enough, because it is very easy to lose a lot of time from repeating that multiple times. That skip is one of the more difficult skips in the game to execute.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if you miss it and you die, if you don't die really fast, you sometimes end up actually losing time going for a second attempt at it.
Yeah.
That's compared to just going up. Yeah.
That camera was scary, but he still made it, so that was nice.
Yeah, he had his angle good, but it was... Oh!
Ooh,
that was really sketchy too.
So,
yeah,
like,
it looked like
I
it
did
had
mention
gravity.
Yeah, I did mention before about how the game does care about the slopes that you're on for determining your speed and airtime. I said about being able to get more airtime with a upslope. The same is true for downslopes, so that if you jump off them, the game will actually make you go lower than normal, and he barely made that loop skip.
Okay, looks like Dai's coming to the end of Pumpkin Hill. These pieces were pretty good. I didn't really see what his first piece was, but it was like on the bottom of Ghost Train. So
he's got a 41 though, which is definitely like a very average, decent Pumpkin Hill time. Because there are a lot of third pieces in the stage that you can get where the game basically forces you to cross the entire map, so finishing with a time like that is definitely very respectable.
Yeah, those pieces were plenty close to each other.
Traitor, meanwhile, has got a fairly good piece 1 atop of Church Mountain, Tombstone by some grass. And this piece is generally quite conveniently placed because the game will always give you a piece 2, which is at least moderately far away from your piece 1. Like right now he's got a piece 2 at Pumpkin Mountain, and there's a rocket right on top of Church Mountain that takes you all the way over there. So it's generally quite a convenient place to get piece 1 at the top of Church Mountain.
Oh, he got double church.
Yeah, he's going right back to where Dai was for his last piece.
Yeah.
Dai, meanwhile, is picking up the booster in Mission Street, so this will allow Tails to hover and abuse a advanced tech which we call the hover jump. He's just tried to use it for a small skip there, but he just missed that weight hop. Traitor will get his own attempt at it when he gets to Mission Street.
That trick can be pretty tough. It's a little tight on like the timing between your jump and your hover. So if you don't, you know, if you're just a little bit off or like you jump slightly too early, you're going to miss it, and unfortunately it loses a good amount of time. But
yeah, hover jumps are essentially performed by doing a very quick double A press. You do a first A press just to initiate a jump, and then you hold the second A press to do the hover. But if you do that second press very quickly while Tails is still rising, you get more upward momentum from the hover. And whilst it doesn't visually look like much, Tails' stages are all designed in such a way that the little bit of extra height you get can be used in a lot of places to get to spots you're not supposed to be able to get to.
Okay, Traitor does not get it, and he also hit the upgrade really late, so he's actually, I think, going to be behind by another cycle. I think this is going to be a 2-cycle.
We'll wait to see. There is quite a bit of quite a bit of time you can bleed before missing the extra cycle.
No, there he just missed the. He missed the next cycle up, actually. So,
that's a shame. So he's going to basically end up with a 1-minute checkpoint here. We generally go by cycle pace based on what the checkpoint time displays when you reach it. So yeah, Dai, I imagine, got a 53 and Traitor has his 1 minute. So that's the first cycle in the stage that the players are aiming to get, but the one that really matters is the one that is after the weight elevator halfway through the stage.
Yeah, there's like this little marathon that you have to do between the first and the second checkpoints, where you're just like tanking through, trying to make sure that you lose as little time as possible, so you can catch this back cycle.
Dai ending up with a 221 in Mission Street though, which is a fairly standard first cycle, as we call it.
Ooh, let's see what sort of pieces we can see here.
Right, any free pieces that we can see in this cutscene? There's one.
We have one in the back.
Got one free piece at least.
Oh, no radar though, so...
Yeah, it's definitely not worth resetting over no radar. Okay, this would normally be a piece that you would reset on, but it is worth going for since you do have the free piece.
Yep.
And you can just go towards it. It's generally accepted as a methodology in this stage that the first thing you should always do is go up to switch 3 and change the water level before even grabbing any free pieces, because the water in this stage is almost always nothing but a hindrance to your movement. Yeah. Jail window, these are not too bad. The first piece was not good, needing to go to Brick Room, but aside from that, that was quite good.
Yeah, the free piece definitely saves that first piece.
Mm-hmm. So Traitor finishing with a 229, so as I'm saying, there are a cycle apart, so it's like 220 versus 230 basically, which is what you'd expect to see for just one cycle's difference, and Traitor is going to get his own chance at getting some good aquatic mine pieces. So let's see what he gets.
I didn't see anything.
No, it's still possible for him to get some free pieces in the top room, so...
Ooh, down below, he's going to reset.
That's a
so
flat
he's got to look for free pieces again. Yeah, he's going to look for a couple extras.
Yeah. So kind of hoping that he was going to get the free piece inside the Beetles, because that's always a nice surprise, but unfortunately didn't happen.
Ooh, water level 2 height, all the way across the map.
Yeah, this isn't particularly good RNG still. There is a clip that you can... Oh, he does have a free piece.
Yeah.
Red flowers.
I'll take that.
So at least he's got something on the way there. So he's actually going to end up with a similar time to Dai as long as the camera follows him through the wall and he kills the ghost quickly. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. Sometimes, ooh, Dai's driving backwards.
Yeah, I completely missed that. Yeah.
Let's go.
I was focusing too much on Traitor.
Yeah. I mean, it's Route 101. Like, what can you can't say too much more about that besides it's already been said.
Yeah.
If you are drifting, you can keep your boost speed, and you don't actually get capped by the normal driving speed.
Yeah.
So,
this stage is definitely simplistic enough that I'm willing to say I'm grateful there's only one of these stages in a run.
Yeah. Can we get some donations, right?
Exactly.
Oh, hey, 120 exactly for the lap 2. That's all right.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. So you can definitely say a lot about this stage, because I know that you are definitely one of the best Route 101 players that we have in the community right now. Possibly the best.
I would love to talk about this, but I feel like I'd have a hard time saying the little things really shortly. There are some parts that you can, to put it shortly, there are some parts that you actually want to slow down a little bit on to catch the downhills, because whenever you land like from being in the air, you lose a little bit of speed. So anytime you pop up in the air, you're going to want to try to land on a downhill if possible. And sometimes that actually means slowing down just a little bit.
Now you know how I feel when I want to talk about bosses and boss tech.
Yeah, this is my baby.
Yeah. So Dai's just finished, and he has a time of 2:16, which is fairly average. Like, it's a decent time.
Yeah.
I think Traitor's probably going to get a similar 1:23 lap 2. So it's looking like probably a 2:19 or a 2:20.
Yeah, if he does this just right, he can probably get a 2:18.
The thing is about this stage is because the cars are always driving through the stage as well, and those do slow you down considerably. If you have different lap times, then the cars are always going to be in different spots, and they may interfere with where you try to pick up rings or perform boosts.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, though, Dai has reached Hidden Base. So Dai has basically entered what we like to call the desert section of the game, and a lot of runners generally view this as like the trifecta of really difficult technical stages for the respective characters. Tails has Hidden Base, and then it's going to be Sonic's Pyramid Cave and Knuckles' Death Chamber. And a lot of runners really don't like this section of the game because it kills a lot of runs.
Yeah. For the most part, Hidden Base is a little bit like Prison Lane in that you're trying to shoot a lot of objects before you actually get there. That way you can keep your speed near its top.
But this time you have a hover to play with as well, and the hover is used to break quite a lot of things in this stage.
Yeah. He doesn't get a very good hover there, so he goes around and grabs a little lower ledge. Doesn't lose that much time as opposed to making the full jump across.
The hover is going to be seen to, in the upcoming section, there's a small, we like to call it a maze, and there's a small maze skip where you essentially try to go over the breakable doors. And at the end of the stage, there's going to be a short out of bounds as well.
And there we go. And okay, he gets the door break there. That one can be weird sometimes because the camera like swings over you. See, and that's a power of the pause jump there that Traitor just did. If he didn't pause, that would have actually been pretty hard to make it back up the way that he was doing it.
So Dai at the out of bounds. Oh, alright. Yeah, both players kind of struggling a little with their own Hidden Base segments. Like I said, this is a technical stage. This isn't an easy stage.
Okay, 154 is pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I'd be happy with that in a run.
Okay, I want to see how Dai does in Pyramid Cave, because Pyramid Cave is like a really nice technical showcase of Sonic.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Most runners will probably agree that it's the hardest stage to like get a really good time on.
I think so, yeah. Even just this first hallway, like the first 12-13 seconds of the stage, it's really difficult to maintain optimal speed down this hallway.
Yeah. For context, like times between lower level and top end runners, just for that first little stretch, you're just rolling, mind you. All you're doing is rolling, and you can have like up to 3-second disparity.
Yeah, basically.
Between low level and high level runners there.
Especially because you go faster on that by trying to ride parts of the wall, because the game interprets them as downslopes, which force you to accelerate. But if you try and ride too steep on the wall, there are spots where you'll just fly off the floor and lose a lot of speed.
Now we got the bounce bracelet, so we can see that if he approaches a wall with really high speed and he bounces, his horizontal speed's going to actually become vertical speed, and he's going to get tons of height. And he can also use the bounce bracelet. We're going to maybe see in a few seconds. You can actually use it to skew your gravity and fly sideways.
Yeah. And in the meantime, he's gotten the second door skip in Pyramid Cave first try, which is always very nice. That is a very precise door clip where you are just going between in the gap between the door and the wall, but it is a very, very narrow space that only works with very precise placement and full speed.
Okay, Traitor's doing his own little tunnel right here. Let's see what sort of time he gets. Looks like it's pretty similar to Dai's.
Yeah,
got a 13. Okay.
He's doing the same starting strat as Dai as well, trying to get a I think we call it a geometry bounce off the corner of that chow box.
Yeah.
Fires you straight up in the air.
Okay, Dai doesn't get quite the height there, but
Yeah.
he's going to go ahead and just be really safe about it and take the loops.
Yeah, he's taking this super safe. It is possible to jump across between those two loops there, but yeah, he just wants to take that safe, which, given the context, I definitely don't disagree with that decision.
Okay. Let's see if Traitor gets a first try door clip here. He got first try first door, so
no problem.
First try second. Oh.
Yeah, his positioning looked a little off to me there. This, as I say, it's very precise. You can't just stand in the approximately correct location and get it. Like, it is really, really precise. But still, getting it second try is still good in itself. And Dai is onto the most difficult knuckle stage. I think runners pretty much universally agree on.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most stressful ones to learn, just because you have to go so far between each piece.
Yeah. In a race, this stage is somewhat of an anomaly as well, because there are a lot of death strats that you can use after, like, he's got a blue room first piece, so what we're probably going to see is that he's going to die after getting this piece, and he's going to respawn in the red room and hopefully get a respawn piece. But because this is a race which is timed by RTA, every death costs more time than it would if you were just doing runs and going by the in-game timer. So this is more of a risk in a race, because it's possible to do a few deaths and not get anything. Thankfully, he does have a respawn piece on his second attempt.
The Traitor ending with a 149. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good, yeah.
I see in chat he actually got snake skip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Talking about knuckles.
He just did a textbook snake skip, which was nice.
Yeah. So we're gonna see a couple more gravity bounces as we go on. We're probably gonna see both these people do FR skip.
Mm-hmm.
So
Traitor, meanwhile, has EO1 as his first death chamber piece.
he's gonna go ahead and reset because it's green.
A lot of runners choose to reset over that because it is quite bad. Bugs Food, I don't agree with resetting on though, because that is a blue first piece, which can lead to some good respawn pieces. So I don't actually agree with that reset. But he does have Big Marshmallow now, which is in the core.
Yeah. I think maybe his line of thinking was maybe he couldn't think of where it was off the top of his head between blue and green.
Possibly, yeah.
Lots of runners get that confused between blue and green, so maybe it's just like, I want to take one that I know for sure.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Bat and the Scorpion is between the red room and the blue room. He's taking an interesting route towards this piece, though.
Oh yeah, he's going to go for booty clip.
He's clipping for it, yeah. I would have chosen myself to just go via the blue path, but this can still definitely work if executed well, and he's definitely going to make it.
Yeah. It's always a little scary. You're seeing him do those little drills. He's actually doing that to keep his height, because if you're gliding for too long, you start falling. Yeah. But every time you glide reset, you're when you start your glides, you're going just about straight forward with no falling at all. So that's why we do that.
Yeah. And Dai, in the meantime, has already finished King Boom Boo, which is nice. A one-cycle King Boom Boo is what every runner wants to get in a run, ideally, since missing a cycle on that boss costs 40 seconds easily.
Dai's just going to play it safe, I guess, with a normal bounceless egg golem.
As far as I know, Dai isn't too comfortable with the egg golem super bounces, which is understandable because it is one of the most difficult techniques in the game. It is a regular super bounce, which, as Geek has already said, is just performed by bouncing before you hit a wall. But the walls in this stage are so close to where you start that there's barely any time to initiate it. I believe there is only actually 5 frames to perform what is essentially 2.5 inputs.
Yeah, and that really... You also have to make sure you get the jump on time, which after a spin dash, sometimes it can be a little hard to get the jump immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
You might be a couple frames too late, and if your spin dash is charged fully, you'll just clip over the ledge.
Yeah. Still finishing inside of a minute though, which for not going for a lot of super bounces is still a respectable finishing time.
Yeah. You get around a 55, or maybe I think you can get as low as a 50 with a really, really good egg golem. Oh no.
Traitor's struggling with Boom Boo. Yeah, he's just missed the one cycle, unfortunately. The running angle to keep up with Boom Boo and be able to keep damaging him is very precise, just like a lot of the other tricks in this game. And he is going for an interesting approach with Boom Boo here, where he was in a position to be able to get further hits, but he's chosen not to. He's going for a 2-cycle. And the best 2 cycles are performed by getting 1 hit on the first cycle and the remaining 3 hits on the second cycle, because once he starts his second cycle, which is just passed, if he has 3 hits remaining, his attack cycles before you can start hitting him are shorter. So it is more optimal to do that rather than getting a 2-2 or a 3-1. So that's exactly what he's going for here.
I've never really thought about that, because I know a lot of runners, including myself, when I was, if you miss a 1 cycle, I feel like a lot of runners will actually just opt for the reset.
Yes, Daisukemara there in Eternal Engine was really funky, and well, you are correct that resetting on King Boombo if you miss the cycle is still optimal, because resetting after a failed 1 cycle is still a few seconds faster than getting a good 2 cycle. But if you are going for a 2 cycle, then the 1-3 is the best one that you can get.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Traitor is going for the super bouncers, and he does have his first one, so that's nice.
Yeah, I think he's just going to take that one and... Oh, I say take it to the bank. Oh, he still got it. Okay.
Yeah, he still managed to get the second hit, which is very nice, because Egg Golem starting his movement for his attack cycle when you're behind him is what causes the spinning animations, which you sadly cannot interrupt.
Oh, did you see that? He hit the back of his head, but he didn't hit the top. So he actually didn't get that second hit.
Oh, man. Yeah, Egg Golem's solid hitbox with only a very small area that you can actually hurt can result in a lot of attack attempts failing for seemingly no reason. He is getting super bounces with relative consistency though, so this is nice. Unfortunately, he does have the spin cycle that I was talking about, and this is what I mean. Egg Golem has 1 hit left, and if he lands this last hit while Egg Golem is still spinning, he'll have to wait until the spin attack animation finishes, so that's really why you don't want to see a spin attack.
Okay, he's cleaning it up now. That's good. Just get away from this boss. It's a bad boss.
It's a lot of people say it's the final boss of the run.
Alright. Dive's coming to a close with E skip.
Yeah, hopefully hits the goal ring first try, because this is easy to miss if you're taking it to... He's taking it fairly safe though, so yeah, he hits it easily.
Yeah.
It's easy to miss the goal ring if you're trying to take it as fast as possible, but just hovering down towards it like that, it's fairly safe.
I gotta do better next time.
And Traitor, meanwhile, is starting his own EE. We didn't really get a chance to talk about Eternal Engine, but this is a almost entirely cycle-based stage. From the start of the stage, virtually up to the spot where you perform the clip, you are trying to make a rising and falling platform cycle.
Yeah, so the main little trick you're going to see here is he's going to do these short hops as he approaches these doors. And that's going to slow him down just enough that he won't hit the door and lose all his speed.
Yeah, he dodged the Chow Key as well, which again, being that this is a race and this is timed RTA, definitely a big time loss to grab the Chow Key. Dai, meanwhile, has started his Meteor Herd, and he's on his second piece. Floating Stone! This isn't even the first floating stone I've seen in this marathon, this event, sorry. This is, wow. This is one of the worst pieces you can get in the entire game, because you just have to do this long climb up to the top, and there is no way to do this climb faster. This is as fast as you can approach this piece.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Hopefully he gets like another middle piece or something that's not too bad. If he gets a bottom,
moving around Dark Siege Storage Area, wondering. Okay, that's not too bad.
That's if you're really good at looking, you can actually see this as a free piece.
Yes,
this is one of the harder free pieces to actually see.
Yeah, because you're not in this area for very long, and you are trying to grab the rocket really quickly.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't exactly. Oh, there, he sees it now.
Yeah, it's when you're coming back down, it's unless you already have worked out which corner it's hovering up and down on, it's difficult to determine where that is because all the corners look the same.
Yeah. Okay, we see Traitor. He struggled a little bit with his clip out, but he managed to make it. I don't think he made first cycle. I think he hit second because he ended up actually dropping the weight.
Yeah, that's right.
All
Dai is coming up to Rouge, so
is Dai gonna do this the right way?
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah,
I have different opinions on what the right way is to other people, so I'll be the judge of that.
Oh, are you? Wait, is your right way like you have to get a 14 or bust?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. If
Okay.
you're not going as soon as you gain control and hitting her before the camera pans around, then too slow. Still though, a 1569 is still a perfectly respectable fight though. Really, with this fight, the main thing that you're going for is killing her within 20 seconds, which finishes the fight before the floor opens up and causes the phase where you're both flying around in the air. That's what you really want to avoid in the Rouge fight. Now, I don't believe that Dai does CGSS, but I think there's a good chance that we're going to see a CGS here. He could surprise us, but I don't think he does CGSS.
I'm pretty sure both these people do CGS.
Mm-hmm. Which still isn't an easy skip, so they've definitely got to concentrate to hit this first try, because this skip has a lot of different steps to it, and it's very easy to honestly either die or soft lock on any of the individual parts, so it can lose a lot of time just from making a single mistake. Trader, meanwhile, already has his first piece, and he's heading up to the top of Meteor Hood to grab his second piece.
Yeah, that's a lot of runners will actually reset if they get a first piece on the bottom that's near the back, because it's pretty common that you'll get a top piece along with that.
Mm-hmm.
You see Dai's going into the acid room. Oh no!
Okay, yeah, this is what I was talking about. Crazy Gadget skip can easily eat quite a lot of time, because there are just so many things that can go wrong with this skip.
Yeah.
So this is giving Traitor a chance to close the gap. Hopefully, if Dai wants to maintain the lead that he's built up over the whole race, he really needs to start nailing the skip. This is third try now for the skip.
Yeah. We saw there, he kind of just went over the ledge and died right away. There's a little kill plane that is like right up against the ledge. So if you miss the initial jump, like there's no hope. You're gonna die anyways. It's
like you can't even
surprisingly tight.
You can't even do a spin dash hover off that ledge. You actually need to jump to physically clear the ledge, otherwise you do clip the kill plane.
Okay. Dai manages to clip onto that ledge.
Yeah, he's got no rings, but he does have a magnetic shield, so he can afford to take one hit. Looks like he's got it this time, though, for the acid room.
Alright, he's cleared it.
And Traitor's just finished Rouge with a 17, so he's also got the quick kill on Rouge.
Okay, now the moment of truth.
Yep. This is the final part of the skip, and a lot of people think this is the hardest part of the skip because you need to gauge this fall into the goal ring. Nice. There is very little visual feedback for where to fall there. Like, you can gauge where to fall by the wall pattern, but the entire wall pattern looks the same, so you really need to be very comfortable with what you're looking for there to not fall against the wrong part of the wall and completely miss the goal ring.
Yeah, with the camera changing too, like you can't really see exactly where he falls, and also your controls are changing slightly too.
Yeah.
So it's
a lot
really
harder than it looks. Like it looks very simple, just falling into the goal ring. It's a lot harder than it looks. He's going for Eggman 2. And he just want to dodge his big laser, which he almost ran into because this single side of the room where the grey door is, Eggman actually can't physically enter that area, so if his hitbox like rubs up against that, then he actually gets forced to turn around, which is what happened there, and Dai reacted just in time to avoid walking straight into the laser.
Yeah, that's the second run I've seen in a row where that happens.
Yeah.
Looks like Eggman's trying to make a hard read or something.
He does that. He is the main villain after all.
Yeah, he has the master plan.
Mm-hmm.
He sees what's happening.
So Traitor's also finishing his CG skip. That looks good for falling.
Yeah, there we go.
Got it. Nice. So a 115 CG is honestly not too bad for going for CGS.
Yeah, you can't get too much faster than that without taking some kind of risky optimizations and stuff.
Yeah, totally. Dai, meanwhile, is on the final major skip of the run. This is FR skip. Geek mentioned before about seeing some more skewed gravity exploits with the bounce bracelet. This is exactly what we're talking about. You can maintain the game not having gravity pointing in the right direction, and you can maintain that for an extended amount of time and then force it to reset at a specific point. So this is used in Final Rush to actually go so far out of bounds that you avoid all the kill planes in the stage, and then you can fall straight towards the goal ring, which is what you're seeing now.
Yeah, so when the timer gets around 105, we're probably going to start seeing actually the back of where the goal ring is.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Right on cue. Yeah, there we go. And he has plenty of height to make it to the end. At this point, you do still need to have enough height to make it to where the goal ring is, but based on where he is against the backdrop, he's more than safe enough for this. So that was a very good FR skip by Dai. And it's looking like he's going to be finishing this race with what looks like to be a mid to high 40, assuming that his Shadow 2 goes well. He's only got the Shadow 2 fight to go now.
Yep. Let's see how Traitor manages this. Oh, he gets interrupted there a little bit. He's going to have to adjust his timings.
He's got the bounce though.
Skip.
This angle is different though. This is like the old bounce angle, which not a lot of runners use anymore because there's quite a bit more risk involved in this.
Yeah. Is it that this one, like the height is a lot harder?
It's
like easier to get around the kill plane?
You come a lot closer to the manual reset angle, so it's easy to accidentally reset your gravity early.
Yeah, okay, that too.
Dai is just finishing Shadow though, so he finishes with a 40-41.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Definitely a solid race.
A good race time.
Yeah, considering he's a 39, finishing with a 40 is really respectable.
Okay, Traitor should be seeing this in a couple seconds now too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got the height. He's far enough around to get through the kill plane.
They both had perfectly fine final rushes.
Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty much a wrap then. We'll see if Traitor manages to get the rhythm on the boss.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what Traitor's Shadow 2 is like, but he's performed pretty well so far in the race, so I don't see any real reason why he should struggle with this as well. Shadow, there are a lot of weird things that can go wrong with Shadow, but the fight is meant to go the same way every time, where you just chain a set of homing attacks together to establish a position to hit him while he's vulnerable, and then deliver a well-timed hit so that you can actually damage him in between his homing attack running out and Shadow landing back on the ground every time he jumps, because that's the time when he's actually vulnerable.
Right. You see also one little thing that he does that you might not notice is he swings to the right. He's going to swing to the right again, you'll see. Now I can show you again. So he does this to actually slow Shadow down, because if you try to just go for the homing attack right away, Shadow will still be on the same speed and you won't actually be able to catch up to him, and you'll just kind of like fly behind him for about 5 seconds.
Yeah, there are a few different factors that go into how fast your homing attack actually catches up with Shadow, and going to the right is generally accepted there as a good method to set up a first hit, because you also then, by delaying the first hit slightly, you can get him in the right platform position, which causes the platforms to not fall as early. And Traitor is now also finished with a 42-34.
Okay. Good for these guys. It was a pretty good race throughout.
Yeah, it was a good race, yeah. It just really goes to show you really need solidity when racing this game, and consistency. If one player is just playing solidly and not making mistakes, then it just slowly gets away from you, which is kind of what we saw. Nice Discord.
Yeah, I think a Traitor actually just streams with like a display capture, so that's explained in this one.
But yeah, so that is a race. That's Traitor versus Dai. Congratulations to Dai for winning. Mm-hmm. And I believe we have one more race coming up this evening, don't we?
Yeah, that's going to be between Tortellini and actually me. I'm going to be racing him. Well, it's going to be on Speed Gaming 1 at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern.
Well, I'm sure I will still be able to provide some commentary for that, so I'll do what I can for you guys. And good luck to you, of course, Geek, and good luck to Tortellini when that rolls around.
Alright, thanks, man. Thanks for commentating with me. It's pretty good.
Absolutely. Thank you as well. It's always great to have you around. And I hope you all enjoyed. And yeah, as mentioned, we will be back at 10 p.m. EST for the last race of the night.
Alright, we'll catch you all later.